What's going on, Ultra Buddies? Dorian here with the Rosso Blu Deck Profile, Rube Deck Profile, long awaited. Rosso Brothers took a break from making Marvel MCU movies. Here we are in Ultraman card game. This deck is crazy powerful, one of the strongest decks in the meta, I think. But it has a little bit of the consistency can sometimes be weird, but it's so good when it gets going. So let's talk about why it's so good. We'll go over all the cards in the deck as usual. We'll talk a little bit about the basic strategy, what plays you're going for, and then maybe we'll do a little practice hand just for fun. And so this is the new star of the show, Ultraman Rube with a level 4. It's treated as a Rosso or a blue, which is very nice. You can get it from all your effects. You can target it with all your effects. And the big bad boy move on this is when it enters play as a quad, you can give a BP grade up to any Rosso or blue for every 2 scene cards in your discard. So if you have 4 scene cards, then you can give 2 BP grade ups and you can double them up. So if you have a single, you can bump it up all the way to triple power. It's very, very strong. That is our new finisher, the new kind of the new win condition of the deck. It's getting stacked up so that you can have a big kill turn with the Rube. The next is the Rosso. This is the other main card of the deck. Nothing has changed much since BPO2. This is still the star of the show, being able to discard scene cards from your hand and then activating them when it enters play effect. This works on double or triple. Ideally a triple because it has a very weak 11,000 double power. But if you got to do it, you got to do it. What makes this so scary is that you have Icarus, Farewell Icarus, and also in the name of Ultraman, which means you can do a BP grade down or a BP grade up, and your opponent has no idea what's coming. So if you're a next player, it makes it very, very hard to play around what this deck can do. It can do so many things. So Rosso is still the icon of the deck, in my opinion. And to support our Rosso, we've got 2 RB Slugger Rossos. This is the new one from BPO8. When you play it, you can discard 2 cards from the top of your deck, and then you can get a scene from your discard back into your hand, and then you can use it for this one. So maybe no secrets if you do this, but it lets you get whatever you want. It makes it very versatile. So we've got 2 of those. A very, very strong card in its own right. And then we've got level 2s. We've got 4 of each, 4 scene searchers, which is top 5 get a scene card. Of course, you want scenes in a scene heavy deck like this, but sometimes you have too many scenes. So you're going to play Rosso Win, which lets you discard up to 2 win cards, and then if you do, you draw that many cards, so you can get rid of 2 scenes, draw 2 scenes, fill up your discard of scenes for the Rube killer play. Very, very good. And finally, we have 4 level 1 Rosso. So that's just going to be top 3 get an Ultra Hero. So that's our Rossos. Well, don't have enough space here to show everything, but I'll show it at the end. Don't you worry, don't you worry. So that's it for Rossos. The next part of the deck is the Blues. We'll start off with the new RB Slugger. So going to look very similar, but a little bit different. So the new RB Slugger is super good because you can discard 2 cards from the top of your deck and then give itself plus 2,000, and then give any one of your Rossos plus 2,000. So this kind of helps some of the weak double power that we have in the deck. And it's also a 19,000 if you play as a triple. Very, very strong card. You just got to time it right. And then we also have the old Rosso Blu, which is exile 1 scene card from your discard area from the game and get one of your blue or Rosso plus 1,000. It's really good for breaking ties. You can go wherever you want, and being an activate is really scary. So what made Rosso Blu deck so scary in the past was that you can set up these really annoying turns for the next player, and then you have maybe a BP grade up, maybe a BP grade down, and plus 2,000 wherever you want it. It's very, very hard to wiggle your way around that. Nothing much has changed. And the more I talk about this, the more I want to play a little bit more. But the 16,000 power is kind of a problem. The 17 power, 19,000 on the turn you play is much nicer. It's much, much nicer. So the 16,000 is why we're only have it at 2. And then for level 2s of blues, we have, of course, all effects. It's so crazy that we get decks that can just be all effects now in Ultraman card game. Vanillas, I think there's some value to having vanillas just having the high power. It is valid, but in a deck like this, where you need the consistency, having all effects is absolutely insane. So first one is our old blue. You're going to reveal the top 5 cards of the deck and put a blue or a Rosso from among them into your hand, and then the rest discarded. But if you do that, you have to discard one. So basically replace one card in your hand with some card from the top of your deck. Very strong. It helps you get exactly what you need to close out the game. And then we've got this ground blue, which is a muscle draw. And the muscle draw is going to help you just fix your hand. Maybe you have too many scenes like the Rosso, or maybe you just don't have, like, you don't need level 1s anymore, and you can kind of do whatever you want with that. Speaking of level 1s, we've got 4 level 1 blues, same thing. Top 3 grab an Ultra Hero. So it's the same exact ratios for blues and Rossos. We've got 4 level 1s, 8 level 2s, and 6 level 3s. So let's check out the final part of the deck, which is why we had to skimp on so much stuff, is to play scenes. We've got You Gotta Have It for Farewell Icarus, the strongest card in the deck, debatably. BP grade down, round 2 scene, BP grade down when it comes into play. And its partner in the name of Ultraman. When the scene enters play, give one of your Rosso or blue BP grade increase. So we've got down and we've got up, and it is really freaking good, dude. you can kind of just do whatever you want. We got down, we got up, and then the last 3 cards of the last 3 scenes we have are 3 enshrined by Kiwami. So there's the non-promo Farewell Icarus. There's the ending of Ultraman, and then the killer card of the deck that combos with Rube, enshrined by Kiwami. Another round 2 scene, of course, it can be used by Rosso, BPO2. You can exile 3 Rosso and 3 blue cards from your discard from the game, and then if you do, you can put a Rube from your discard pile on top of one of your characters that can level it up with. So you can make a triple, a 2, 3, 4 triple out of nowhere, but ideally, you're going to be putting it down on top of an already existing triple and going for a massive kill turn. So that's the deal. So let's see what we can do here. We're gonna lay the deck out a little bit more so you all can see everything right. This ba-boom, 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 and then we got blues, 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 blues. Oh, it's too close. Okay, I did a little pause action so you can see it all laid out, get the whole idea. So there's a few decisions going on here. I know that there's a build maybe going around in Asia a little bit that leans a little bit more heavy on the blue. The problem I think with that is that the Rosso cards are so good. First of all, BPO2 Rosso, like this card, I think make or breaks the deck. I think if you don't have one of these in play, then you're kind of not doing Rosso blue things. And then you kind of need the supporting cast to be able to do that. And like maybe you don't play level 1s, but you might as well play level 1s just in case you would need the triple for Rube. This one that gets a scene from the discard is so important because it lets you be a lot more flexible. It gets you exactly what you need whenever you need it. I feel like you don't want to not run these to make room for blues. And then this blue kind of contradicts the Rube a little bit because you don't want to be forced to use this before you use this. If that makes sense, you want to exile your scenes before you're trying to get the big boosts. So it's really hard to kind of figure it out. That being said, if you had a bunch of these and then like you were able to play a Rube and then you had like maybe 2 of these and then you do 2 BP grade ups because you have 4 scenes and then discard them for plus 4,000, like that's going to win games for sure. So it's, I'm not saying this is like the perfect one, but this is what like I really like it this way. I feel like you get to play defensive enough and still have like the insane power play turns. And one thing you notice about the scenes is there's nothing, it's all power. This is kind of what I learned from the long time ago playing Rosso Blue, is you just want every turn to be as impactful as possible because you never want to give up a turn that you could have won. And that's kind of like my motto, I guess, is like if you had a card that let you draw a card and maybe set up the Rube for next turn, or you could have just won, like it's better to just win. So that's why we just go all power. It's 4 BP up, 4 BP down, and then 3 of this one because this one is not always going to work all the time. You're going to have the right setup, and there's enough of them where even if you mill it, you can grab it back with this. So that's what I'm saying. It's all about consistency, getting the cards that you want in your hand at the right time, and this is what I found worked the best. It's actually a variation of my old build, which also had 11 scenes, and just had what was it? I had like extra level 3s and an extra level 1 blue. That's like, I just cut those for the Rubes. We just made a little bit extra room. But 11 scenes, the reason why we do 11 scenes is because it always gives you a scene in hand to use for Rosso. You're pretty much never stuck with a turn where you don't have something to do with Rosso, unless it's a Kiwami and you don't have Rube set up. It happens. It happens. But you're basically, you're always got ammo to play with, especially with the new RB Slugger Rosso. And there's enough scenes that you can hit a 4-scene double BP grade up pretty consistently. I think if you play this and it only gives you one, like, it's gonna be good. But if you can get it where you're getting 2 BP grade ups for this, like, you're gonna mow some people down. So that's the thought process. I'm comfortable playing 11 scenes. It's maybe a little tricky, 11 scenes and 4 level 4s, but this is what works for me. This is what I like. You should try it out. And then adjust it if you are not as comfortable playing this risky. So basically, the game plan is to just build a triple. Any triple works. You build any triple, it works. And then you're gonna have anything you want to do. You basically you kind of first 3 turns. It's always hard to win on turn 3, I think, these days. But if you can, you can. So you're gonna probably build 1 triple and then play a bunch of doubles. And then with the doubles, your goal is to use your scenes to survive the game, and then eventually you'll either do a Kiwami or you'll do a straight up level up Rube from your hand, and just guns blazing, guns blazing. So that's a general idea. I'll go through a little mulligan hand and test hand because I think it'll help you guys see what this deck is all about. All right, we got our deck all shuffled up, so let's see what our first hand looks like. And one thing you'll find with this deck is the first hands tend not to be very good. You probably get 1 good hand in your top 12 cards. So like this, we can't really do anything with. It's a bunch of level 3 Rossos, a blue, and a scene. So that's got to go on the bottom. We'll get a new hand, which will hopefully be a lot better. And usually, I mean, with all this filtering in the deck, you can usually, as long as you get 1 level 1, you're having a good time. And you'll see in some of our matches, even if you don't get a level 1, you can kind of make it work. But you really prefer to have the level 1 so that you can set up that room. So what do we got here? A little awkward again, but you know, you gotta see how it works. You gotta try it out. So there's the Rosso 5, so we're just gonna get a. We don't mind Kiwami in the bottom, so we're gonna take a in the name of Ultraman, and that's gonna go there. And then next turn we'll probably win. We'll get lead. Nice. We got a blue. Let's go. So in this case, what we'll do is you're gonna play aggressive. You're gonna play both like that because you have a bunch of scenes in your hand, and that means 2 things. Is one, you need to play the scenes to get them out, but also you have this interesting position where you can actually be really you can actually be really aggressive because next turn by taking lead with 2 scenes you can play one and Rosso one, so you can do it. And the reason why we play both is just in case you need to discard to bump it up even higher to like really take lead, because I think if you don't take lead in this, if you can't play a scene next turn, you're dead in the water. So we'll activate Rosso Blue's effect. So we're gonna mill 2. Get plus 2,000, so it's like 13,000, 14,000 now. And so we'll probably win both lanes, and we'll go to the next turn. And oh my gosh, isn't that crazy? So in this case, we do have to think a little bit about how we want this turn to play out. Let's keep our options open for the Rosso. So you would start by playing in the name of Ultraman. You draw for playing a scene. That's why you also need to take the lead. And then we're going to grade up here. And the reason why you would grade up there is because your opponent will probably play a triple there. So when we play our double here, then what we're looking at is a plus 2,000 here, a plus 2,000 here. And so now 19,000 can beat a lot of triples in lane 1. If they played unless they're playing really aggressively, They might not have a 14k to go here. Like Ginga might be able to get out of a 14k here or something like that. And then if they played level 1 on this lane, they didn't keep up with your like double your level up, then they'll only be level 2 and they're probably not going to be able to fight this one. And so that means you can just pick and choose wherever your In the Name of Ultraman goes. So maybe you need to beat a Ginga 17 lane 1. Ultraman goes there, or Ultraman goes here, so get 17 or 19. Or if you need to BP down, like maybe you won these, but they did something crazy here, you could BP down that. So it gives you a lot of options to just really bully people out of the game, even if you don't draw any level 1s. So let's do it. Try another hand and see if we can get some level 1s and what that might look like. Okay, we got another hand with level 1s. This one looks kind of spooky, right? Because you need to get a Rosso level 2, and you only have 1 blue, and you get a lot of scenes. But trust me, as long as you get a level 1, this deck will make it work for you. It feels scary. Just trust me. And we'll hope to get you some more hand cane games with this in the future. I'll try to play it on our next Galaxy Cup so we can record. Well, the next Galaxy Cup I can go to so we can record it. So in this kind of game, we'll do Rosso, and we'll see 3, and we will get. See, there we go. See? If you trust, the deck will return return favors for you. Then turn 2, we can draw again, and in this case, we can do a few things. Like I would say, we've got a lot of scenes in hand. And instead of playing a blue, which is going to put them to the bottom, we might as well play the Rosso because we're going to be getting rid of the scenes no matter what, I think. And that will put them in the discard for the Rube. So we're going to go Rosso here. No scenes, unfortunate. And then we go for this Rosso, the Wind Rosso. We can discard 2 scenes and draw 2 cards. Pretty nice. And then we get the next turn. So I'm assuming sometimes this in this day and age, I would say playing a level 2 here and getting lead turn 2 does not always happen. So it might just depend on how the game's going. But let's just assume we don't have lead or something, and we wouldn't be playing this anyway because I think we want to keep it in hand. So we go to next turn, and this time I think we want to keep the scene. So we'll play the blue and we'll play the rose. So the nice thing about playing like this is that you have a BP grade down. So between it just happened to work this way, but between these two, it's very hard to lose this turn, even though you only have 1 triple. But you have the Rosso, and you can down any lane, you can up any lane. It's very flexible. So in this case, I am debating because we kind of need to get something going. We're probably not having lead, but we want something good. So let's pretend. We have, let's pretend in order to stay safe, we have to use a BP grade decrease. We're going to have to use this. So we know we have to keep this in our hand. And that means we need to figure out how we want to play next turn. And we have to decide what we want to keep for the muscle draws. I think we should send back both of these, the level 2 and the level 1. And it's a little scary because we might just get bricked next turn. If you're scared of getting bricked, you can do this, but you might not have a play. At least if we do this, as long as we draw 1 character, we can always go for the Rube. And it covers up our Rosso, which isn't ideal. But it does give us a lot of power because we'll have, we're going to discard that one, and we have 3 scenes already. That's why we play so many scenes. Discarding this to survive is going to give us 2 BP grade up next turn. So let's muscle draw these 2. And then we'll have to discard this one to survive. So we did get our blue. We did get a blue. So hopefully we can get another solid card off the top and not totally not have to play this one for our play. Let's see. Okay, there's a Rosso. Okay. So in this case, we'll go Rosso here. We'll blue to level up. And we'll also do this one. So when we do this, let's see, we've got 4 scenes in discard. So we'll discard 1 to draw a card, just to see what we can set up for next turn. And then we have 2 BP grade ups, right? So now it's a little scary for your opponent because if they have a weak lane somewhere, it's very easy. You actually have a lot here, right? If your opponent's weak, maybe they're weak in lane 3. You can go boop, BP grade up there. I win that. Maybe their lane 4 was also weak. You can go BP grade up. and then you have that's a 17. You can exile 2, that's a 17. Exile 2, that's a 10. So if your opponent's hand is pretty weak, you can kind of get them here. On the flip side, we could go a different route, right? We could go a different route, and if your opponent's not really threatening anything here, maybe the lane 1 is kind of a tie. We don't need to worry about that anymore, or we can get away with just doing Farewell Icarus this turn. Then we won't activate this effect. We'll just Farewell Icarus. We'll get to lane 4, where we try to find like something, try to find an even weaker thing, and then we'll play this one and this one. And now we're kind of at the end of our wits, but because we have 2 BP grade ups, as long as any of these lanes are weak, you can kind of get people got, right? And we're almost at 3. Imagine if we had one more scene. Just if we hit one scene off of this one, it could have been absolutely deadly, right? Or if we had enough cards to do a level 2 there, get one more scene. But we have 2 BP grade ups still, right? So we can still threaten something big here and the 12 there. So we're threatening 16 here, 12 here, but with 2 exiles, that becomes maybe an 18 here and a 12 there if they can't beat that. Or you can, if that's an easy win, ba-boom. Or if for some reason their hand is really weak and you're already winning one of these lanes, you can go double up here for a 19 if they go big. So you have like, it's hard to show you how exactly this deck works when it's just solo play, because it really depends what the opponent has and where you can find their weak spots. But this deck is so good at finding weak spots, and that's what it makes it so super duper strong, and why I think you should be playing this version, because I like it. And you saw that like every time I might have needed a scene, I had a scene in my hand to be able to use it. If I didn't have it, like if I didn't need to use it, it's all upside because I get to keep it in my hand and save it for later. But if I did need it, I needed that one scene to survive that one turn, you're always going to have it. I don't want to make promises, but you are very likely to have what will keep you alive. And sometimes you just need to stay alive to hit a just absolutely juicy Rube turn. So that's the deck profile. Hope y'all enjoy the deck. I hope y'all enjoy the matches with it. And we'll try to get some hand cam, because I think this deck is one of the more interesting decks to see the hand cam with. Bye-bye.